Hey everyone, welcome back to Backstage Pass. This is a CPCA advising podcast. That's right, a podcast right here at Temple University, brought to you by the CPCA Advising Office. Super cool episode that we got today. I'm super excited to finally interview this guest. But first, before we introduce him, I would like to say hello to Sarah once again. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, Ben. How about you?
I'm hanging in there. You know, it's getting a little colder outside. I'm putting on other university sweatshirts. That's how cold I'm starting to get. So you know, I gotta fish out my Temple sweatshirt and start representing the way that I should be doing. But yes, like I said, we have a very cool guest. I'm super excited to talk with him. Today's guest is the director of CPCA Advising. That's right, he's the actual director. We got him on the show. Super exciting. He went to the College of William and Mary, where he earned his degree in history, and he also earned his master's from James Madison University, which actually my brother also attended. He is also a longtime lover of music. We are so happy, and I'm so excited to introduce Brad Pearson. Brad, how are you doing today?
Hi. I'm great. I love to hear people talk about me. Thank you. You did a great job rattling off of this hat.
That's what I'm here for. I'm here to make people proud.
I assume you got them from my Wikipedia page. Thank you.
We did. We got a lot of the information from Wikipedia, so hopefully Wikipedia was correct.
Yeah.
So to start the show, I do like to acknowledge that you are the CPCA advising director,
sure,
which is like what I consider like the head honcho. Is that fair to say?
Well, that means that I am the director of advising. Yes, that was a very tautological statement, and I didn't really give you an answer. So let me try again. That means that yes, I oversee, but more, I think accurately, I work very closely with our advisors, as well as faculty members who advise within CPCA, other admin in CPCA. And I try to kind of keep everything connected, I guess, is one way to think about it. CPCA is kind of a strange a unit at Temple, even though it's all related around the arts. They're, two very distinct areas, Boyer for music and dance, and theater and film. So a lot of what I do is just try to make everyone talk to each other and make sure that they're aware of what they're doing and who's doing what. And so yes, I oversee, I collaborate, I connect. This is great resume fodder. If anyone is looking for active verbs for a resume, I just rattled off 3 great ones. So try to build those into your own resume.
I'm writing them down.
As far as you're concerned, this is actually an interrogation where we're writing down every word you're saying. So I have that pinned down right here in front of me. Yeah.
All right. And then it'll go on my Wikipedia page, and I have no choice but to say it's accurate. It's true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. So we've done our research, of course, and it says here that you have been with Temple for 12 years now. Is that correct?
Yes.
Wow, 12 years. So out of the 12 years, were you always the director, or did you have other positions at Temple?
So I started at Temple in 2008. It was the summer I graduated from James Madison with my master's in education. I started at Temple in 2008, and I worked in the honors program, which, for those of you that don't know, the honors program is a collection of students from across the university. Any major can be a part of the honors program. And they all, the honors program itself is additional advising, it's additional programming, it's additional support. And I was an academic advisor there. So I started in academic advising in 2008. I worked up to a couple other roles and titles within the honors program, got to the assistant director level. And then it wasn't until 2019 that I moved to CPCA for the director of advising position. So I've not been in CPCA for that long at all. Very, very short amount of time.
I mean, that's A-okay. We're so happy to have you here.
Okay.
You know?
Totally.
I'm not going to apologize for it anymore then. Thank you. I appreciate it.
There you go. You should never apologize for it. It's the place where you need to be. That's how I like to think of it, at least.
Good.
So with your time in the past year almost 2 years now being a part of the CPCA. Has there been a favorite CPCA event that you've attended, or even before you really started working at CPCA? Did you ever like attend any of the events that were happening?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I've not been to as many theater productions as I should have been for 12 years, but I still remember my first one was a production of Rent. Probably would have been 2009 or 2010. That was phenomenal. That was great. There was an
Oh my
honors
gosh, at Temple?
at Temple.
They did it
Yeah,
at Temple?
What?
Oh my
in
God,
Tomlinson.
that's so
Oh yeah,
cool.
I think it was my first time in Tomlinson too. Um, so there was that for theater. I've been to a couple of the senior showcases for the film majors. These are all related. You know, oftentimes, I guess over the years, when I would engage with Temple events, it's because there was an honors student, sometimes an honors peer advisor, that would be doing one of these things or kind of showcasing their work. So the staff would all go together and see it.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah, and then let's see. For Boyer, so there's this event that Honors has run annually, and I assume they'll do it again this year. It was the brainchild of the director of the Honors program, and it's an event called Meet Me at the Music. The important takeaway is that it was a collaborative concert between Boyer students and faculty at Temple in a variety of different fields. So like physics, economics, really outside of Boyer. So oftentimes a Boyer student and a Temple faculty member would collaborate on some pieces. And so we would run that event every year. And that was a lot of fun. I did get to perform once.
Whoa, that's neat.
At that. Yeah, I would say I was on the kind of appetizer menu in terms of talent. But it was fun nonetheless.
What did you do for your act?
For my act was I played guitar and the students sang. And the students sang much better than I played guitar, but it was fun nonetheless.
Very fun. That's very cool. It's funny that first of all, I didn't know Temple ever did Rent. That's really neat.
Yep.
Neither did I. Oh my gosh.
That's crazy.
Now you're making me question my own memory. Hold on. I'm 99.9% sure it was Rent, but if I'm wrong...
Were they screaming Rent? Because the first number, they say Rent at least 1,000 times. So that's how you should know.
I'm pretty sure it was Rent. I have a hard time remembering. So for reference, I also did go see a production last year, and I cannot remember the title of it, even though I thought it was phenomenal. It was the one about the water supply being poisoned. It was in...
Was it the Butterflies? Was it somewhere?
No, it was in Randall. It was a small production.
Oh, it was... No. It was... Oh my God. Now you're... Enemy of the People.
Enemy of the People. Thank you.
Yeah.
I kept wanting to say A Serious Man, but I know that's a Coen Brothers movie. Enemy of the People.
It was about a serious man, though. So, I mean,
it was about a very
there.
serious man. It was a very serious problem he had, and it was very well done. But that should tell you.
Yeah, that show was great.
That should tell you how good my memory is. I cannot remember the name of that play from a year ago. So.
That is A-okay. The only thing, when you said Rent, that kind of blew my mind, because I know that's a really hard show for like anyone to get rights to actually like put on. I was fortunate enough to go back in my history a bit and just to kind of show off who I am. But when I was in high school, I was fortunate enough to participate in a Rent production. Because
Ben, stop it! Me too.
Oh wait, really?
Yes.
Now, let me bring up the cast list so I can see what you guys each played here. Hold on.
No.
All right. So, what were your characters?
You want to go first, Sarah?
Joanne. I'm a soprano. I was not fit for that role. It was not great, but like we did it. It was
Joanne
a mess.
Joanne Jefferson?
It was fun. Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
I was fortunate enough to play Mark. So that was a lot of fun.
OMG, we could do the Tango Maureen right here, right now.
We could do it right here, right now
Oh my
on the
God.
show.
So is this kind of like a 6 degrees of separation? If you guys, if people have been in theater productions long enough, eventually they've done Rent, and eventually you could put together a cast of Rent just with people that
A
have
superstar cast.
randomly.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
That's right.
100%.
That's right.
I
Well,
actually, in my head, I was thinking actually a better analogy is that one about if you put 1,000 monkeys in a room with typewriters, eventually they'll type War and Peace. It's kind of like if you put 1,000 actors in a room, you could put together some sort of semblance of Rent.
Oh,
Yeah.
to 100% for
Okay.
sure. Now, my theater chops have disintegrated since senior year of high school, so I can't say I'm very savvy anymore in theater. But if you give me a couple of the songs, I might be able to hold a tune again. So, but that's really cool. I never knew.
2010 is when they did it. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know that, but that's super cool. Oh man, I wish I was there for that. That would have been. I mean, I would have been too young probably to watch it at that point, but I don't know. It would have been cool nevertheless. I'm sure, but so you never actually attended Temple. You attended William Mary.
Yep.
As well as James Madison, which shout out Dukes, because that's where my brother went. So I understand the longevity of the Dukes and supporting the team. But with the 12 years that you've been here at Temple, have there been any classes that you've ever wanted to just like, you look at it and you're just like, that sounds like so much fun. I definitely want to take it right now.
Well, I've taken classes at Temple.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, I mean, they weren't part of a degree program, so I was just one of these non-matriculated students. A couple of them were grad courses. So the first one I took was an intermediate statistics course. So let that one wash over you. That was a fun one. But the premise of it was, in advising and in kind of student services, having a grasp of statistics is very, very useful. And so that was actually a really fun course because I've always liked quantitative reasoning in math, but I was also very happy to stop taking math classes in college. So it had been a while since I took one. I also took a class in geography and urban studies on geographic information systems, which is another fun thing just to kind of learn about. The reliance that we all have on things like Google Maps is something kind of, it's interesting to know some of the kind of what goes into a map, a live map that is kind of tracking you and tracking any number of other kind of environmental stimuli. And then the last class I took was a Spanish class. So it was all over the place. I took an intermediate Spanish class because once again, it had just been a while since I studied a foreign language and I wanted to do that again. So one of the perks of working in higher ed is that you can just, every now and then you can just take a class and it's free because we have tuition remission. And it just kind of keeps you feeling, I don't want to say feeling like a student in the sense that you guys are students, but it keeps me a little bit in the mindset of what you guys are going through when, it's Thursday and I have to finish a lab assignment by Friday and, work a full-time job. I get it. I get
For
that.
sure.
It's,
I was going to say,
something I think,
it stinks, doesn't it?
it's like everything, moderation and variety is great. So when you work full-time, a 40-hour or so a week job, it's actually kind of fun every now and then to have the lifestyle and schedule of a student. But yes, it's not something I want to go back to and do full time.
For sure. Yeah.
I don't know how you guys do that, frankly. That's always very impressive. Yeah.
Well, that's very, I didn't know that you actually took classes here at Temple, but that's neat. That's cool. What would you say your favorite was out of all of those?
Boy. Well, I think the geographic information systems course was the most unlike anything I had taken before. So
right.
it was really fun to kind of dive into and think about what that social science, what that department studies and what you look at there.
Very cool.
But all three of them were phenomenal, great professors, and really good just to kind of keep that part of your brain active as best you can.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, it sounds so interesting. I'm like, I don't know, maybe I should take that.
You guys should all take electives when you can. I mean, it's one of the messages I've had for students for 12 years is college should be not just about getting your degree, but within reason, you should be able to study things outside of your comfort zone, outside of your curriculum, and really embrace that, because it's harder as you get older. It's harder to do anything that is beyond what you're just doing for a paycheck or what your lifestyle or what your family requires. Right? As a college student, like, now's the time to really explore.
Yeah. Plus, I think students would be surprised with how much they actually enjoy more than what they might be currently doing. Like, I know for me, I'm a music technology major, and a lot of what I do revolves around music and the technology side of music. But
Go figure.
Go figure. I would have never guessed. But it's really neat because every now and then I'll find like a psych class that I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting, and I'll go through it and be like, wow, I never knew how interested I really was into psychology until this class. And it just shows that there's more out there than, what students are currently doing. There's a lot more that you can learn that might interest you that you just haven't found yet. So, yeah, no, yeah. I think that's great advice for students. Go take electives and find something you might be interested in.
And here's really the key. Don't try to ascribe any greater meaning to it other than, hey, for the next 3 months, I want to study this because it sounds interesting, because the professor looks cool, because I just read a book that kind of relates, you know what I mean? Like, don't be like, well, I need to make it a minor or a certificate, or I guess I can double major in this, or it doesn't have to mean anything beyond just an interesting class. So that would be my other advice, which is don't overthink the classes you're taking.
That's a really good piece of advice, because I don't know about you, Sarah, but I do that all the time.
I was just in a meeting with Sachiko talking about just that. I was like, oh my God, I need to take 73 minors. And she was like, no, you do not. Just take a couple classes.
It's true. That's really good advice. So all you people listening right now, take that advice to heart. But Brad, I hear you're kind of a big deal. I hear you're kind of like a celebrity. I heard that you've possibly worked with the Roots. Is that true?
Oh, the setups to your questions, Ben, are terrifying. Let me just say that. What does he do? Did I work with the Roots? I worked backstage at a show that the Roots were performing at, and the better part of my interaction with the Roots is that my friend picked up Questlove from the airport to bring him to the show. And my friend turned on the college radio station. And at the time, playing on the college radio station was a song that my band recorded and performed. And he had the opportunity to ask Questlove what he thought of the song.
Oh my gosh, what did he say?
I could be getting this wrong again in my fuzzy memory, but I seem to remember that Questlove thought it had a Coldplay vibe to it. Which I would say, I don't mind Coldplay, but I would say I was not what we were going for. So,
oh no!
The real quick story there overall is that in college, I worked on the University Center Activities Board, which at Temple is known as the Main Campus Programming Board, I think. And the premise is the same. It's a group of students that work with student activities fees to provide, any kind of like programming, social, cultural, musical, comedic, whatever programming. And it was a blast. It was a lot of fun to do that. Because you got to help out at shows like the Roots. Let's see, what else did we do? I specifically worked with the comedians when they came. So we got to help book the comedians and pick them up from the airport and bring them to the show. And it was pretty fun to kind of dip your toes in the entertainment industry that way. But yeah, it was fun. Got to meet Dimitri Martin. I don't know if that's a comedian people know. The biggest comedian that I got to work with, that at the time she was very, very unknown, I guess, was Retta, who you might know from Parks and Rec.
Oh my God,
And
I
Good
love
Girls.
her so much.
I still remember her jokes because they were the same jokes that were part of her kind of booking tape that we watched, and they're very good, but it was a very small show. And then years later, I'm like, oh, Retta, I remember her.
It's just like, oh yeah,
Oh my God.
she sounds
I
familiar.
love her so much. I
Yeah,
remember,
she-
I think on Parks and Rec, her bit is like the treat yourself. I say treat yourself every day. I'm like, I love her. She's too funny.
She was funny, yeah. So it was fun, and working in that, obviously made a lot of great friends, but that's kind of where I learned that you can work in a college beyond just being a faculty member. You can be in this kind of administrative student support role, and that's kind of what led me to where I am now. So it was very important and very fun.
For sure. And I think this is more just out of curiosity. Who was your favorite celebrity to come on in, or celebrities?
Favorite celebrities that we worked with. Well, I'll tell you, the one that was the most gregarious and really warm and welcoming to me was Colin Quinn, who you may not know. He was on SNL in the 90s. He was the Weekend Update host for part of the 90s. He's a stand-up comedian, but he was just so nice. I remember I had to drive him around I took him to Wawa because he wanted some candy. And he just wanted to talk about me and my life. It was really, really cool. He was the one, he recommended I read Confederacy of Dunces. And I went out immediately and got that book, and it was a good recommendation.
Wow. That's super cool.
Yeah. So there were a few other ones don't come to mind, but he was the one that I definitely remember being the most kind of welcoming of being a comedian doing a college show, which sometimes I don't think it's their favorite shows to do, but it was fun.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
you and I
cool.
are kind of similar in a way where not only are we both music lovers, but we like to form bands.
Oh yeah.
So I've
heard you're in some bands. Yeah.
I have, and I currently am in some bands, and I would like to know what was your band name, because I know that's always a very fun topic to talk about.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you the name of one of my bands in college, because I don't think there's much on the internet about us.
As far as you're concerned.
As far as I'm concerned, yeah. You can still do a deep dive, I guess, and find it. But the band that I was in college that our claim to fame was winning Battle of the Bands in 2003, I think, was named Camp Tiger Claw. And it was a reference to the movie Wet Hot American Summer, if you've ever watched that, but it's the name of the rival camp. So the movie is about Camp Firewood, and their anonymously evil rival camp was named Camp Tiger Claw. And so I thought that was really funny to name a band after something described as anonymously evil. So that was our band.
The best. And you won the Battle of the Bands? What was that like?
Yes. That was a high point of college, Ben. It was fun.
That's awesome.
It was a lot of fun.
What was the
it was-
grand prize? What'd you guys win? Like recording time? Was it like a
Grand prize, I believe, it might have been only $250 or $300, and
That
we had
sounds
to
like great prize.
we had to split it 6 ways because there were 6 people in the band.
Oh no!
Well.
I had to write. I took the money and then I wrote checks to all my bandmates. I still remember writing those checks and handing them out for whatever that amount is, but it wasn't a lot.
Do you still keep in touch with those guys, or no, not as much?
Yeah, well, a lot of them. I would say, yeah, all of them actually. They were, yeah. I mean, I'm sure you have the same feeling with your bandmates and Sarah with castmates and productions. Like that's a quick and easy way to make real friends, is to do something creative like that together. So yes, we stay in touch. We all do very, very different things now, but we all stay in touch.
For sure. When's the reunion show gonna happen then?
Yes, we will be there.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. Who knows? If you book us an Airbnb out in the Poconos with just filled with musical equipment, and you say, Brad, I've gotten all of your friends, your old bandmates together. I've arranged for childcare for the weekend. They're all coming from all parts of the world, which right now consists of Haiti, Dubai, Ohio. Where else are they? Virginia and Virginia. Yeah. Then I'll say let's do it.
Sarah, we've got a mission. We've got a mission.
All
we
right.
got to do it.
I'm on Airbnb right now.
All right, good. Very good, very good. Well, while we're working on that, and while we're gathering information on how we can make that happen, I gotta ask, because you were talking about, having some sort of babysitter in case that it does happen, you guys get to rejoin. How is the new dad life for you?
Dad life is phenomenal. It's challenging. It is not easy, but that's what makes it worth it. So you might hear him every now and then in the background. He's 4 months old. He is healthy and going through all the things that 4 months old go through.
Exactly. That's awesome.
Amazing.
I remember how excited you were for when Kai was first born. It made me feel very joy filled. I don't know. There was something about whenever you talked about him and how excited you were to talk about him. It was, I don't know. To me, that was a beautiful thing, and I loved that so much. So
I remember a few. a few of the orientations when you brought him on. I was like, It was the best. It was the best highlight of my summer.
Yeah, I don't want to flaunt him, but when we're all working from home, it's impossible.
It's really hard to. You have to, though.
It's really hard. No, I know. And it seems that people enjoy it, so I'll keep doing it. But it is very hard to separate work and personal life.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Understandably so. But, how could you not? It's the best. It surely is. So the last thing I actually wanted to talk about, and this is more of a personal thing because I know you're a guitar player. What guitar do you own? We kind of briefly talked about it for a second over the summer, but I'm curious.
So I have I play mostly just my acoustic because it's easy to just start playing an acoustic guitar, and that is a Taylor. Taylor, I don't know the model, but it is just an acoustic. It's not an acoustic electric. I just wanted it to be as simple and old-fashioned as possible.
The best way to go.
No cutaway, just standard body guitar.
I love it.
And my electric guitar is a Gibson Les Paul Special. It was I think a graduation gift or some sort of high school gift I got. And it was definitely a guitar that I was not good enough to own yet. And I haven't gotten any better at it, so I guess I'm probably still not good enough to own a Gibson. But it's my electric guitar. It looks a lot like if you look at some pictures of Bob Marley performing live, it looks like the Les Paul that he has.
Oh, that sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
I could talk about gear all day, but I know that this is not this isn't like the pedal show or like
pedals. Yeah.
Like we could talk about it for hours. Trust me.
Yeah. I would love it to, I would love to be able to invest more time, mostly time, but time and money into gear.
It's a money pit for sure.
It's a money pit. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I did. The last thing I'll say about that is I did get an amplifier that is a modeling amplifier. It's a practice one, so it's not big or anything. It's not that expensive either. but it does, allow different tones and different effects in the amplifier itself. So I don't have
very
to.
Nice. It's nothing like is it like one of those, I'm trying to think. I know the Boss Katanas are really good.
It's a Vox Valvetronics. So
yeah.
So it's a tube amp, so it means it's too loud for my apartment. But
of course,
with headphones, it's actually really fun. It's really fun to play. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Now, I mean, hey, whatever gets the job done, right? And whatever, you get pleasure out of enjoying, and playing with an amp like that, it's all you need. It really is.
That's true.
So I definitely get that. But with that said, I think now we move on to our game, which at this point, I'm sure you are very familiar with how the game works. It is This or That Temple Edition, where we have half the questions actually relating to Temple and half just general things that you have to think about. Some of these are a bit hard, so don't think too long on them because you do have a timer. There are 60 seconds on the board, and we try to get through as many of them as possible. I think we've only gotten through all of them twice now? Once?
I think maybe twice.
Maybe twice? Yeah, so I think it might have been twice as of the last episode, if I recall correctly. But yeah, so not many people can get through all them. But we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We got 14 this or that questions for you. You have 60 seconds, so you got to try and just get through them. You got to try not to slow up, which can be very hard sometimes, but try your best. All right?
Okay.
Sarah, you're going to have the honors, as always, to go through the questions. I'm going to have the timer ready at my disposal so that we know when the time is actually up. Are you guys ready?
Oh, yeah.
All right, here we go. Ready, set, go.
Wawa or 7-Eleven?
Wawa.
Wawa or Sheets?
Wawa.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Saxby's or Richie's?
I love Richie the person, but I'll take Saxby's coffee.
Netflix or Hulu?
More Hulu recently.
Maxie's or Philly style?
I don't know. I don't know. Well, I guess it's pizza. Okay, so Philly style, I guess.
Book or movie?
Movie.
Center City or Fishtown?
Center City.
You got like 5
Charles
seconds.
Oh gosh. Okay. Gibson or Fender?
Gibson. Even though I probably should be a Fender fan.
Well, we didn't get through all the questions, but we got through most of them. I think we got through like 12 of them.
Yeah, we got through 12 of them.
So we are close, but no cigar. But I appreciate that. I appreciate that your first 2 answers were Wawa because we had a discrepancy last time with Maggie, who picked Sheets over Wawa. It's a tough blow.
At William and Mary, there was a Wawa right across from my freshman dorm. So I was nurtured in the way of Wawa very early in my life.
Good. That's how it should be.
Oh, yes.
And then I went to JMU, and they only had Sheets, and I was disappointed for 2 years.
Oh, no.
It's just, that's how it is sometimes, It's a shame, but you get through it. You really do. But yeah, thank you so much for being on, Brad. This has been a fun time. This has been exciting. I hope you and your family are doing well, as always. But yeah, seriously, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you guys both. I really appreciate all the work that you do and the energy that you imbue on this podcast. It's phenomenal, you two. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
We appreciate you, Brad.
That's right. We appreciate you. That is right. And like always, I would like to thank Sarah one more time. I say this every episode, and I mean it. She is the backbone for everything that we do. Without her, this show wouldn't be possible to do. So, Sarah, thank you so much for being here. And then thank you to everyone that is watching currently. We really appreciate you viewing this and you getting to know your staff, faculty members, and peers that belong in the CPCA advising office. If you'd like to stay in touch with anything else CPCA related, you can follow us on our social medias at CPCA_advising. But until next time, my name is Ben. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll see you next Friday.